welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna do some baking. I've made this before and it turned out really well, but it was a long time ago, so I've been wanting to remake it and try it again. The recipe I'm gonna use is from one of my favorite cookbooks, and that's the Bread Illustrated cookbook from America's Test Kitchen. I've tried many recipes out of here. They've all turned out really well. There's great instructions and really good recipes. But today I'm gonna be making a chocolate babka, or babka. And this is basically just a bread loaf with chocolate swirled in. It's really good and delicious. Good if you want to make like a pastry dessert to have for a meal. I think I made this for like a Thanksgiving or a Christmas, I can't remember, but I was in charge of bread that year, and this was one of the 3 things I made for my family, and I really enjoyed it. So today I'm going to be remaking that, and of course we're going to use our big stand mixer for making the dough. But first I'm going to get all the ingredients ready and measured out. This makes it really easy to just kind of put things together, and also there's a couple things in here that are usually in the fridge that I need to get out and make room temperature before I start making my bread. It's been a while since I've had time to actually bake. Since it does take a few hours, you have to let the bread dough rise and everything, so I'm excited to get to bake again today. I have time. But we're gonna get started by making the dough with our mixer, and then we will get into the filling and such once the dough is rising. So let's get started. So I'm gonna start by making the dough. I am going to do this in my stand mixer because everything's gonna eventually go in there. But we're starting with our dry ingredients. So we have 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and we're gonna add in our 1.5 teaspoons of instant yeast. And then we're gonna add in a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and we're going to mix that together with just a whisk. And now we're going to put this on our stand mixer and then get our wet ingredients ready to go. So now we're gonna get our wet ingredients together. I have a 1/2 cup of milk that I've let get to room temperature. So we're gonna add in our vanilla extract, which we need a tablespoon of. I have a 1/4 cup of sugar that we're gonna put in. And then lastly, we're going to get 2 egg yolks, and I'm gonna leave the egg whites in this bowl because we're gonna use them later. So we've got 1 egg yolk and then 2 egg yolks. So I'm gonna set the egg whites off to the side, and then I'm going to mix up the eggs, milk, and sugar. You wanna do this until the sugar is fairly dissolved. You can start with a whisk, and then I'm gonna just use a fork to really mix it together. So when this is mixed together, we're gonna move over to our stand mixer and start making the dough by slowly adding our wet ingredient to our dry ingredient. So now we have our dry ingredients attached to our mixer and we have a dough hook on. I'm going to start this, and you wanna start on a very low speed, and we're going to slowly add our wet ingredients to it while it's going until it's fully incorporated. And while it's still going, I like to keep a spatula and just kind of stop it for a minute and scoop in the flour on the sides. And then turn it back on. That way I can keep it on a low speed but still incorporate all of the flour. So now that I have my dough made and it's basically no dry ingredients left, I'm going to turn it back on, but to like a medium speed, and slowly but surely I'm going to add in my pieces of butter. This is a whole stick of butter, or 8 tablespoons, cut up and let softened. I'm slowly going to add each piece into the dough until it's fully incorporated. Alright, so I took my time adding in my butter and let it really incorporate using a spatula to scrape the sides and the dough hook to make sure all the dough got incorporated. So now I'm going to take the dough out and put it on a surface and knead it by hand. So first I made sure my surface was clean, and then I threw some flour on it, and I have flour nearby in case I need more, but I also made sure my hands were nicely floured. And to the side here I have a lightly greased bowl because this is where we're going to put the dough after we're done kneading it by hand. But first I'm going to take the dough out of the mixer, and I'm just going to use a spatula, and we're going to just put it right on the surface. And this is where I like to make sure my hands, and I'm just going to knead it a little bit by hand. It is going to be slightly sticky, so that's where I also floured my hands. Just going to knead it for a bit using the flour when I need to. And to knead it, I just kind of like use the palm of my hand to kind of push down into it. Kind of roll it over and push. And you don't really have to do this very long. I like to just keep going until I feel the dough is smooth enough to my liking. And then I'm just going to use my hands to kind of form a ball, form a little ball, and then I'm going to stick it in my bowl. And then I'm gonna take just some clear wrapping and put it tightly over the bowl. Make sure it's on there really well. I'm going to set this aside for 1.5 to 2 hours until basically the dough is twice its size, and I'm just going to leave this on the counter while it does that. Make sure, you know, your plastic's on there really well, and then we can clean up. So while the dough is rising, I'm going to wait to not start making my filling until later in the process, because after it rises on the counter, we want to set it in the fridge for at least an hour to make sure the dough is firm. And while it's in the fridge is when I'm going to start making my filling, because that's when I need it, because the filling needs to be like melted and be able to smooth out. So I'm going to wait a while. I can clean up all my stuff, wash all the dishes. That's one thing I like about making bread, is since it does have to rise for a while, it gives you time to like clean up and do other things. I just like to set an alarm on my phone when I first wrap it, and it will go off when I'm ready to move on. So I will see you guys when I put it in the fridge and then when I start making the filling. Okay, so it's been around an hour, 45 minutes, getting on close to 2 hours, but I'm going to now place my dough. It's risen a little, probably not as much as I would have liked, but I think it's okay to go ahead and put it in the fridge. I'm gonna put it in there for an hour, and I'm either gonna wait right up until the hour is over or right when I take this out of the fridge to start on my filling, because the filling does not take that long to make, and then I can have my dough rolled out and my filling ready to go when that happens. Yeah, we've been waiting a little over 2 hours, got a lot done. All the dishes are clean. Now I'm gonna wait another hour, and then we can roll it out and then bake it. All right, so now I'm gonna make my filling. I have 2 ounces of baking chocolate in a bowl I'm gonna put it in. And so I'm just going to chop it up and put it into the bowl. Feel like you don't have to make them super small, but not too big either. And just get the last of the chocolate in there. And then I'm going to add in 4 tablespoons of butter. This butter is soft. I've been having it on the counter. And then I'm going to add in 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. And I'm going to put this into the microwave to melt the chocolate at a lower setting, not the high power setting. I'm gonna put it in there for a couple seconds at a time, stirring occasionally until the chocolate is all and the butter is all melted. So I have my melted chocolate and butter, and then I have a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar that I'm gonna add in and mix. So now that the powdered sugar is in the chocolate, I'm going to take, this is where I saved my egg whites from earlier, and I'm gonna add about half of this in. You only need 1 egg white, but I have 2 in here from the eggs earlier. So I'm gonna add that in here and mix it in. And this is going to make the chocolate look glossy. So now that my filling is ready, I'm gonna measure out a tablespoon to set to the side, and then I'm gonna clear off my counter, flour it, get out my dough, let it rest and heat up for a bit from the fridge, and then we can start rolling it out. So I did take my bread out of the fridge a couple minutes ago and it's warmed up. I took off the covering, but I set it aside because I'm going to use it later. But I floured my surface in a rolling pin, and so now I can press down on the dough, and I'm going to put it on the counter. So now I am just going to slowly roll out the dough, and I want to make a rectangle shape. And the measurements they give you in the book is about 18 by 14 inches. And you want to make sure the long side is going to be kind of parallel to where you are. And then if you get kind of curves like that, just kind of flip it over and you can change the direction and then kind of just stretch it out. So you're just going to work it until you get your rectangle. So there I have close enough to the measurements that I want. So now I'm going to take my chocolate sauce and spread it over, leaving some space on the side, about 1/2 inch, they suggest, all around the edges. So I like to just pour a little in the center and kind of just spread it out. So now that I've got it all spread out, I'm gonna go from the long end and slowly roll it. And I want to roll it away from me, slowly making sure it's tucked in and not pressing too hard so the chocolate doesn't run out. When you get to the end, I would pull up from the other side, kind of pull the seal towards you, and I'm going to seal it off at the ends. You might have a chocolate run off, but I'm just going to seal the ends. I'm going to take my extra chocolate and just pour along the seal. You might have some run out from the middle, but I'm just going to layer a nice bit here with my extra chocolate. And then I have my greased pan all ready to go. I'm going to take this, I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. I'm going to fold it in half and then twist it and set it in the pan. So you might get a little messy and your dough might not look the nicest, but you're gonna have it in there, gonna be a little twisted, and I'm gonna wash my hands real quick. So now I'm gonna take the covering I saved from earlier, and I'm just going to place it over. We're gonna let the dough rise again for 1.5 to 2 hours. So it's been about 2 hours. I just turned on my oven, but I'm gonna uncover it and let it sit uncovered for a bit. It didn't rise as much as I wanted, and also it's not gonna look as nice as the last time just because of the chocolate. I used a little bit too much chocolate, so the dough didn't stick as much and it kind of got all over the place. So I'm gonna skip the egg wash just because there is a lot of chocolate on it, but I am still gonna stick this in the oven and I'm gonna bake it for 40 to 45 minutes and kind of watch it a little more than I would have, but I think it will turn out all right. It just might not be as pretty as past times I've made it, but you know what, it happens sometimes. But yeah, if you guys want to see it unbaked, looks like that. There's a lot of chocolate over it, but I have my oven heating up right now, so I'm gonna stick it in there once it's ready. It's at 350, and I'm gonna stick it in there for 45 minutes, and we're gonna watch it and see how it goes. And then once I get it out of the oven, I'm gonna take it out of the pan and let it cool completely. In the recipe it says at least 3 hours, but I'm probably just gonna leave it overnight. I don't have time to cut in it tonight, so I'll probably see you tomorrow. We'll cut in it to it tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. Okay, so it has been almost 24 hours since I made this, a little under. So I fully let it cook, but I couldn't get it get to it last night, but I'm going to cut in it, see if it's okay. It still smells perfectly fine, even though it doesn't look as nice as it did the first time I made it, but you know, sometimes you don't have to make it look nice. I mean, it still looks kind of cool with all the chocolate, you know, on it and everything. It just doesn't look like the picture, is what I'm saying. But we're gonna cut into it. Yeah. So we do have some swirls, but there is like a big chunk of chocolate, which I was kind of expecting. I think it will taste just fine, obviously. I didn't necessarily make or mess up anything, it's just I put too much chocolate sauce in there, so. But really, is that really a mistake? I don't think so. So I'm gonna eat a slice, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoy baking, so I really want to try to get around to doing it a little bit more. It does take some time, you know, with the bread rising for hours. I do enjoy it, so I do want to try it more, or get around to doing it more. And I will link the book that I got this recipe down below. It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite cookbook, even though it's just about baking. I've never made anything bad out of it, and it's got really good instructions, and it has a lot of like extra information just about baking in general, of like why things work, why you need to do certain things. So yeah, I highly recommend that book. I enjoy it very much. But I will see you guys in the next video. If you want to be someone, why not be you? Bye guys. I'm gonna eat some bread.